Hello, welcome to class 2 for OpenAI course with Harmony. I, I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, so in our last class, we went through some basics in terms of OpenAI. We saw how to do text generation, and we also saw how to adjust parameters of the model to be able to make the model give us a response that fits what we want. So today we are going to be looking at another side of OpenAI, which we're going to be introducing you to the basics of prompts engineering, how you can train your prompts for the AI to give you a good response. So let me just share my screen. Just give me a sec. Sec. All right. Please confirm that you can see my screen. No, can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, your screen is visible.
All right, cool. Let me confirm. Right, so today we're looking at the basics of prompt engineering. You know, one thing is you understanding the AI, and one thing is you've been knowing how to make use of it efficiently. Right. So today we're going to be going to some basics of prompt engineering. Okay, let me get to the next slide. So what is prompt engineering? So prompt engineering is essentially the art of crafting the right questions or commands to guide an AI model. Right. You can think of it as creating a map for the AI to follow. So the clearer and more detailed our map, the better the AI understands where we want it to go and what we expect as the outcome. So we can also consider prompt engineering as initiating a conversation. It's more than giving command. It's about setting the context, providing relevant details, and clearly stating the desired output. So if you tell a model maybe what is the name of this place, it's different from you saying what is the name of this country. There are two different contexts. Okay, so you cannot have another analogy. Imagine you're an artist, right? In the same way, a muse inspire an artist within certain bounds. Your prompt acts as an instructor for the AI model. Okay? So the power of guidance is actually what we can use to guide our model and give us the right answer we want. Right? It's moving beyond the simple instruction, and it's about the capabilities of communication. It involves providing the right kind of information and context that enables the model to grasp the task at hand. So we're going to quickly hold on, let me invite you for okay. And welcome or welcome Uzadima. Nice to have you guys here again. Okay, so we want to look at basic prompt technique so that we can quickly go into the practical session. Right. So the clarity is the key. Clarity is everything when it comes to model. Right. So the first and foremost principle in prompt engineering is clarity. Your instructions must be clear, concise, and specific if you want to get a good result. It's also important to eliminate any ambiguity that could mislead the AI. So think of your prompt as a precise command or question that leaves no room for interpretation. A clear prompt ensures that the AI understands exactly what you expect and reduce the likelihood of it going off track. So you need to be clear about what you are trying to get or what you're trying to pass to the AI to get a result. Also, context is the key. Now let's talk about context. You can expect to get a relevant or useful response if the AI doesn't understand the situation fully. So providing context is like setting the scene in a play, right? It's just like you are arranging the scene for a play or maybe a drama. It helps the AI grasp the entirety of what is being at, whether it's a background story or a simple setting. This context guides the AI to generate responses that align with your goal. So you need to make sure that the context of what you're passing, the context of your prompt has meaning, has enough information for the AI to generate what you want it to generate. I'll move on to the next slide. Okay. So setting the stage. So another crucial aspect of effective prompting is defining the desired output format or style. You could actually ask this a ChatGPT maybe create a random data set for you, right? If you are using the advanced one, you could actually ask it to maybe give you the information as a CSV file, or maybe to give you the information as a TXT file. So you also have the ability to, set the stage, tell it how you want the desired output to look like, right? You want it to write the code for you. You want the code in Python, you want the code in Java, which programming language. So this means being explicit about whether you want a poem, a news article, an email, or even a code snippet is very important. Okay, but let me add this before. Okay, cool. So by specifying the format up front, you help focus the AI capabilities, allowing it to channel its efforts into producing the type of content you need. Don't mind the whole grammar. We are soon going to be looking at some practical examples where we will experiment and see how we can tune our prompt. Okay, so we have another example. Finally, don't underestimate the power of examples. Including examples in your prompts can be extremely valuable, right? So you can also give it how maybe a sample of what you want it to look like. Then from there it can pick up. The examples act as a template or benchmark for the AI, providing clear indicators of the tune, style, and structure you are aiming for, right? So they serve as a springboard for the AI creativity, helping it to start its response in the right direction. Okay, so by mastering this basic prompt technique, right, setting the stage, giving it an example, giving it the right context, and making your prompt have clarity, you will become more efficient in using the model and getting a good and best response from it. So we have some examples of prompts that you can go about maybe to test run. So this will help us understand how the precision and detail in our prompt directly affect the output produced by the AI. So example one is a simple news story. Just pardon me for now, we are still going to look at the code itself. If we simply say write a news story, the AI doesn't have much to go on. I mean, you didn't tell it what kind of news, you just write a news story. So you see that this prompt does not have much content. So the output could be a generic and broad news story, or it could even veer off into unrelated topics that maybe you don't want to see. Right. So the lack of specifics leads to unpredictable and often irrelevant results. But here's another prompt with context, right? So it now says, write a news story about a dog who saved a child from a fire. So you see that this prompt has more context compared to the previous one. So this prompt provides clear context and elements to focus on dog, child, and fire. So the AI now has a framework to create a focused and relevant news story with a clear narrative. Let's look at another example. Creating writing spark. So here's the first prompt, right? Prompt with limited guidance. Consider a prompt like write a poem. You just maybe you went to ChatGPT or any other model out there. You just say write a poem. So this is a very open-ended question and can lead to wide variety of themes and style which might not align with what you had in mind, right? So it doesn't have much context in it. But here's another prompt, right? Depends from the previous one. Write a haiku poem that about a lonely robot. Sorry. Here we find both format haiku. If you are into poem, you probably understand what that means. And the theme, lonely robot. So such a prompt guides the AI to produce a specific type of aesthetic work, cutting its creative energies to generate something concise and that captures the essence of the solitude in the robot. So these are just two basic examples theoretically showing you how prompt engineering works. That if your prompt does not have much clarity context, right, it's likely going to, go off track. And most times you will need to give it some example to work with. So having said that, we are going to conclude on what we've said so far so that we can just jump into the code and run some of them. So prompt engineering as a fundamental skills. We think that prompt engineering is not just about instructing an AI, about crafting a meaningful interaction. It's a fundamental skill for anyone looking to harness AI technology for specific outcomes. Basic techniques for effective prompt. By focusing on clarity, providing the right context, specifying the desired format, and using examples, we can create prompts that guide AI accurately. These techniques ensure that the AI understands our instructions and can generate relevant and effective response. The power of detailed prompts. So a well-crafted prompt can truly unlock the potential of AI models. It can lead to generating creative content formats, translating languages with high accuracy, and providing informative answer to complex questions. So I'll open the floor for questions. Does anyone have any question? Maybe on the slide, so that we can just jump into the next talk. I can see Jamal, I see Tanisha, Uzodima, Obina. Does anyone have any questions for me? You can unmute yourself. Okay. I assume that there's no question from anyone. Right, so let's just get into it. Let's just go into the notebook. So I'll just click on this. Right, so it's the same format like in our previous class, but different coding and different context time around. So we are just going to be going through some code, right? We
Sorry,
are going to yes.
your voice is not very clear. It's kind of not clear. No, I don't know. Maybe you are too close to the mic or something.
Oh, can you hear me now? Is it clearer now?
I can hear you. It's just somehow honey back as you speak. It's giving some kind of echo.
Okay, how about now? Is it clear?
No problem. Go on.
All right. Cool. Right, so we have the first example here. We are using Hugging Face, right? So we're using an open source model, right? Just in case there is anyone that maybe does not have the OpenAI key, which you need to have. Okay. So we are using the transformers from Hugging Face, and in our pipeline, we want to do text generation using the DP2 model. Okay. So here is our first prompt. What are the health benefits of eating apples? And here is another modified prompt to change the focus. What are the risks of eating too many apples? So we are going to be seeing response one. The maximum length, like I explained in our last class, is to limit the words returned to 60. Then the number of return sequence, it determines how many sequences the model will return for each prompt. So setting it to 1 means you want one generated text for each prompt. So here is where we are displaying the output. So I'm just going to pick this up, right? And I'm going to go to a different cell and run it. Okay, that's it. let me run that. Right, so it's connecting. I think we are good to go. So it's getting the model from Hugging Face. Okay. Right, so here is our output. So this is our response to Trump's one. What are the health benefits of eating apples? It all depends on how you can consume them. One large study found that apples are more nutritious, less processed, and more affordable. The other study found that apple consumption. So here's actually the response it returned for the first prompt. Then here's the second response it responded for the second prompt. So because of the limit we applied, it stopped generating. But with different context to your prompt, you get to have different response. Just give me a sec, let me accept. Yes. Okay. So we can see the results. We can actually increase maximum length. Let's say 1500 so that we can have more context. Okay, let's see what we'll have to come around. Okay, so here's the response to prompt one. We found that people spend a lot of time pondering where we will get all the healthy eating when there are many products available, and what's more, they ask where are the natural ingredients, and any of them help. I found that in the markets or those are limited, very okay. Then prompt two, what are the risks of eating too many apples? One of the biggest dangers of apples, but of fried product is the potential of high this. All right, so we've seen the different response that we got for those two different prompts, and they're actually different. So your ability to craft out a good and creative prompts with much context will determine how your response would be. Okay, so let's get. Does anyone have any question on this? We want to look at the second example. Any question before we move on to the second example? Okay,
Sir,
cool.
please, how do you explain, I mean, the generated text in the square brackets, the last line of the code, generated text, what's the origin of that?
It's coming from
Yes.
the key, from the response. You know,
Okay.
okay, let's break it down. I think we should just break it down so that it's same. So let's call on response two. So you should be familiar with this. It's just like slicing a list or maybe trying to index a dictionary. But let's see what response two looks like. So you see where it's coming from. Are you saying this is what response two after using the generator to generate that text? And generator
Okay.
is coming from our model. So the result going to response two. This is what it looks like.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
for us to
Okay.
be able
Okay. I
to
understand.
access
Accepting it.
reality, yes, so we just need
Okay.
to slice in. So It has only
Thank you.
one element in this. Okay, cool. So
Yes, sir.
that's what the generator is coming from. Okay, cool. The second example demonstrates how different questions, open-ended versus specific, influence the detail and direction of AI-generated questions. So here is an open-ended question. Discuss the impact of artificial intelligence on society. Then this one is being more specific. How how is artificial intelligence enhancing medical diagnostics? So this one was it's just being open-ended on the society as a whole. For this one, we are narrowing it down to the medical industry. So these are two different prompts that would obviously give us two different responses. So again, the maximum length, how many prompts it should return. So if let me just copy this and take it to a different cell and then run it. Okay, so here is the response to the open-ended question. You can see the response to the open-ended question. So because the impact of artificial intelligence on society, the more time you spend with something that is not human, the more likely you will be to use it. Said a former US intelligence officer. Read more. I didn't believe the word. I mean, if you notice, it's not really giving any good point like that. Though we limit the output to 100, we should always take that into consideration. Probably if you extend it, it will give you more concise information. But the second one that we were being specific, let's say response to the specific question. Here is the output for that. How is artificial intelligence enhancing medical ethics? So an increasing number of people are looking for solutions to this difficult problem. AI is a tool for the management of life. It allows professionals to solve specific medical tasks with relatively little interaction with the environment. It's being used in the medical diagnostic and it's used in medical research and therapy to identify disease and diagnose disease at high sensitivity. Most AI projects focus on a single goal. So we see that response it gives, I don't want to go on reading to the end, but the response it's giving, it's being more specific and it's all centered within the medical industry, right? That was because we were being specific on what we want from the model and how we want the answer to be. We wanted the answer to be how it enhances medical diagnostics. So you see that the information is bringing out is just centered around the medical industry. Unlike the previous one, even reading it alone was confusing me because at some point I got lost. How is Google investing, right? So it's not bringing out something reasonable. So this is just another example of prompt of how you can, draft out your prompts to bring out a good information for you. So one thing is, it's not just about I know how to, I have ChatGPT or maybe I have this particular model or maybe I'm using Gemini and you don't just know how to use it efficiently. The moment you know that the how you write your prompts determines the output and the way you twist it, maybe giving out different twisting it to fit what you want, you definitely get the results. Yeah, if not exactly what you want, but you get something closer to what you want. Okay, so please know that you can stop me to ask questions if you have any. Right. So I'm just going to go on to the third example. Context, length, and detail. Show how the length and detail of context provided in prompt can guide the depth of response. So this example is it's more like the length of information you pass in, like the length of your prompt rather, also has a way to affect your prompt results. This one is tell me about the Renaissance. Renaissance. This one says explain the influence of Renaissance art on modern European culture. So this one is short, this one is long, obviously. So does this have the way of affecting our prompts? Let's find out. So I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to bring it down here and I'm going to set it and run it. So let's see how length affects the output of our prompt. So this is response to the short one. Well, I'm pretty close to saying I did. That's just a close to your definition of what it means in terms of Renaissance. It, it's much more a scientific term than intellectual. But I do know from my personal experience that there are far too many people who see it as a great idea. The model is we laughing. Probably the model is laughing, or maybe this be an emoji. Even more, respond to detailed prompt. Explain the influence of Renaissance art on modern European culture. So this one is longer than the previous one. So it says the art of art introduction. Art is the first. You saw the way it started arranging it. You saw the way this one was. This one was two shots, right? And the answer was just you just came out and started writing this. But this one that was a little bit longer than the other one, you saw how it started the information. It started with an introduction. And if probably our length was maybe unlimited, we'll probably have introduction and maybe objective and the rest of them. But yeah, it started with introduction. Art is the force of nature, introducing art as we see it. There exists art that is not only of human form but of artistic character. Art has the power to elevate mankind as a whole. So it would have ended up continue maybe after on enter into the whole Renaissance part, then introduce the European culture. So this is just another example showing us how the length of our text, or sorry, the length of our prompts can affect the results or the response we get from the model. Does anyone have any question for me? I think I'm saying chat. Sorry, let me go through the chat in case there is any question. Okay, about the voice, I don't know if it's clearer now. Can you type prompt into AI development? I don't think I understand the context of your question. Maybe you may want to rephrase your question so that I see if it's something so that I can understand the context and maybe answer. It's just what we are learning here, right? So the question you are asking, just assume I'm a model and I don't understand what you are saying. I'll probably start answering the question based on maybe how I say it. But if you can rephrase the question, maybe I would be able to throw more light on what the question is trying to say. Okay, please chat me if you need. Okay. Um, okay, for the source code file, it's probably going to be shared with you later on after the class. The parameter you pass to the generator function and in the generator object directors. How can I see all parameters? The parameter you pass to the generator function and not in the generator object directors. How can I see all parameters? If you are referring to other parameters, you may want to reference the documentation to see other parameters we have. I think we touched some yesterday and we're still going to look at some today. Okay, and in the generator object directory. Are you referring to the documentation online?
Yes, actually, I'm referring to the documentation. If you check up the documentation on that on the object of the pipeline class, I didn't see any of those parameters like the maximum length and the number of return sequences, which I believe are very important to run this to run this code.
You
Question is
mean in the
how
lesson
where
notebook?
hmm?
Is it in the
Okay.
lesson? Are you referring to the lesson notebook or like OpenAI documentation?
No, I'm talking of this particular this Hugging Face transformer library.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm seeing we're using things like maximum length and number of return sequences. I didn't see them in the documentation. I would want to know why it's like that.
Yeah, I know for sure it's there because I've used it, like I've seen it before. So what I would say you should do when you get to Hugging Face, try going through let's say the course part of it, or you just search. There should be a search box for it. You can just search max length, maybe on the documentation. Then you
Okay.
try to narrow down your search to that.
Okay, thank you
Yes.
very much. Thank you.
All right. Cool. Okay, so let's proceed. I don't know. I've got to. I don't think there's any other question in the chat box. Yeah, the notebook should be shared. Yeah, should be shared with you guys. All right. Well, we're going to. We have more
I
examples.
have a question.
Yeah. Okay.
For the OpenAI API key,
Yeah.
there's I mean, when using the OpenAI platform
Okay.
for prompting and
Yeah.
all those things, we have to pay for the key and all that, and that's a bit of a headache for some people who probably are indigent, who can't afford these things. Like, so what I need to know is what is the pricing like? For instance, I'm scared of putting my ATM card on that thing because I
Can
don't know how they will
I answer
pull out.
that?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Please go on.
Yeah, I think I just got it today. I think it's $5. You can get as low as $5, $10, credit. I think so. I don't know how long that's gonna last, but I think you can get as low as $10, $5. I actually got $5 because I don't know how much I'm gonna be using it. Because I think it's just few classes that I'll be using it for. It's not that much. So I just did $5.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that, Ridwan.
Thank you.
Another thing I can add to is yes, it's actually $5 is the list on their pricing list. Now the usage, this is how it works, and we're actually going to see more of OpenAI in our next class. We're going to be seeing like practically OpenAI, how to use the OpenAI key and maybe generate some prompts. So I will show you my key. But yes, the minimum is actually $5, and the usage, I don't think it's something that expires. It depends on how often you make use of the API. Everything is on the pricing list. So you guys asking the question, you can just go to OpenAI platform, then go to their pricing section. Then you probably get all the information you need there. So if you get like $5, I don't think you'll be doing too much workload for the course. It's just basic prompts like the ones you are saying, which it's if you run it, it takes like $0.001 for each call you make, and also depend on the model you use. So all those things, all those information are there on the pricing page. So you just go through it. But I'm very certain that it doesn't take much, and you can as well use $5 probably for a very longer time. It just boils down to how many times you're calling the API and the kind of model you are using. So that's what um contributes to the pricing too.
So what model would you recommend us to go for what we need to do for our quizzes and our
Yes,
projects? Can we
it's
stick
on
to
the
GPT
um
3.52? Can we get something? Okay.
I
yeah,
think
yeah, it's just what I wanted to mention. The model you need, it's on the lesson, the stage B code notebook, the notebook for stage B. That model you see there, it was previously text DaVinci, but recently it was depreciated. So I had to we had to change it to the current one. So what is currently there is I think it's GPT double
it's
something
double,
instruct
double to
instruct.
Sorry, I didn't
So
get you.
yes,
Sorry, I didn't hear you. I beg.
double,
It's
double 2.5.
okay. Thank
Double.
you.
just go to your stage B notebook. You would see the information there.
Okay, okay, no problem.
Yeah. Yes. All right. Cool. I actually going to see more of the OpenAI tomorrow. I said tomorrow. Sorry. In our next class. Yeah, that should be on Friday. All right. We've done through examples. I still have more example we can still go through. We have time. So it's just basically changing of prompt. But here we are looking at sentimental analysis with conditional prompting. Right. So this one says, I love the new update. It's fantastic. I hate the new update. It's terrible. So we are using the sentimental analysis model from Hugging Face to try to give us a sentimental analysis if it's a positive sentiment, a negative sentiment, right? But it's just two different prompts. The first one is a positive prompt, the other one is a negative prompt. Now, how does it even come into play, right? So it it may have a way, or let's say the prompts you give to the model may have a way of affecting your response depending on the tone or the kind of sentiment. So you don't end up passing in something negative and maybe I mean, you can expect something positive if you tell it, okay, this is negative, I want positive, right? So it all boils down to your prompt and how you write it. So let's quickly run that and see what the response will look like. So it's a different model. So for every model you are trying to access very, very first time, it's just going to go ahead to download it. So it has give us the results for the two prompts. So it's saying that the first one is a positive prompt, a positive sentiment, a score of 0.99, while the other one is a negative sentiment with a score so high. So those are just two basic prompts doing sentimental analysis. So the tune of your text or your context you are passing to the model also results determine the kind of results you may get from it. So this one is entity recognition, NER, name entity recognition. So we have this model and Apple revenue hit 274 billion. Apple's revenue hit 274 billion. So with significant contribution from their service sector. So we want to know the name entity recognition. Will you be able to detect a name, a location, and the like? So let's see what the result of this prompt to give us. Most of these things so it was in stage A. You must have seen in hello, can anyone hear me? I think my network logged me out for a sec.
Yeah, can hear you.
Okay. Just going to run this again. It's showing an error. Okay, it's saying it's not finding any entity. Hold on. Hold on, let me see if I can cut this up. So we'll just have to skip this. It may take me time to debug what the issue is. But yeah, what is expected is for it to say that Apple is probably the name of the company. 274 is the amount. There is no location here. Mostly is always name, location, sector. So it's not bringing out any entity, and it may take time for me to debug this. So I'm just going to, let me see. Hold on. Wait, comment. Okay. All right, so it was able to detect one. Please ignore this one. It's not giving me what I wanted. But it was able to detect an organization, and it detected Apple as an organization with a high score of 0.9. So starting point of that Apple is index 0, ending at index 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is what the result looked like. This is what the result looked like. Okay, so just ignore this one that was here. But yeah, this is not really close to the prompts we are looking at. So let's go to the next example. Adopting style and tune in text generation. We still have more, but we are going to stop somewhere. Adjusting style and tune in text generation. So we have two prompts here. Please confirm that you can still hear me.
Yes, I can.
Okay, cool. So we have a formal prompt. It's just formal. Compose a formal apology for a delay response in business communication. Then write a casual apology for being late to a friend's party. So the tune of your prompt is what how it affects our response is what we want to look at now. So I'm just going to pick. Okay, so uh, formal apology. Compose a formal apology for a delay response in business communication. Beware of fake and distorted reports, false claims or wrongdoing. Okay. So we are saying the results from for the formal apology, it's saying beware of fake or distorted reports, false claims of wrongdoing or improper use of classified information. Okay. It's telling us don't let the news media ignore reports concerning a specific case. Always call them up to offer corrections on your story and make an issue of it. If you decide to tell your story and be cooperative. See this excellent source of by the author. This is not even related to it doesn't even look like an apology. Could it be because of the tune? Let's see the casual apology. Write a casual apology for being late to a friend's party. If you've got a question about the party, please do not send it to me. The last thing we need is somebody asking you for an excuse to go off with an idea instead. It's never related to an apology. Let me rerun the code. Okay. So we have another different result. We should know that most times results are obviously going to be changing. Compose a formal apology for delay responsible communication. So this is what it came up with, talking about the book, and doesn't even look like an apology. Casual apology, write a casual apology for being late to a friend's party. A friend's party. think I made my last friend dinner last night in his room. I don't know why you're doing it. Are you going to get off my lawn? So we can see that it's not even giving us any concise or a good information. And this could probably be as a result of maybe the model you are using. And we all know that you can't compare GPT-2 to GPT-4, right? You can't compare GPT-2 to GPT-4. But yeah, this is what the result looks like. And we all see that it's not really making sense despite how our prompt was crafted out. So at this point, you wouldn't even blame yourself. You'll probably be blaming the model, maybe for generating a response that doesn't fit to what you want. So let me tune it a bit and see the results. So I've just changed the prompt. Let me copy this. So I want to bring back, sorry. Okay. I'm going to comment these two out. Then I'm going to bring in the new one I just created. So let's see what the response will look like for these two new prompts. Okay, so this is what the formal apology looks like. Write a formal apology to my boss. No, he wasn't kidding. I didn't do anything. He told me to stop playing the ball. I said I want to play and keep playing, play basketball. So it's just being generic because I wasn't even specific. Maybe my boss in the finance industry or what was something, but this is the result it brought out. I asked him if he had do it again, and he said I didn't do anything. I just let go and quit. I have nothing against him. So this one is sounding more like an apology. Is it something like an apology? But you got fired. People say something is happening to you, and you go into it. Still not giving me something reasonable. The casual apology. I would never have done anything like that to her up her throat that she says. I would love to tell her why, but I am at this point I am sitting here with my head on the gas, and now I can't understand why her name is under such trend and how we even talk. But I so much believe that if you still maybe customize this, change it, tune it, you'll probably get what you want. I think we still have more time because we're almost rounding up. So let me see if I can tune this a bit. Um, I didn't know she was sick. Oh, be brief. Okay, so let's see what this one will give us now. So I added, in other words, I've increased the length and I've also added more context to this prompt. So let's see what it's going to generate for us. See? So it's beginning to look like an apology. I really apologize to each and every one of you. I could not remember exactly where you came from and why, but I truly believe I made a big mistake. I was trying to be nice to you, to be funny by trying to bully you. So it sounded more like an apology. And that was because we added more context to that prompt. This one, at dinner we shared, I took the cake. By the time I came back home, I realized that I shouldn't have. So it's going to sound like an apology. Then for the casual apology, I didn't know she was sick. Be brief. Let's see. I didn't see much about her at all. I didn't know why she was any place. I didn't know she was any place to be. So I would simply say, how come when she is no good did you let me out of the hospital? So I was back in the hospital and I never knew my sister. I didn't even know she was sick, and as a result, I won't be saying. I guess it's wanted to say I won't be saying sorry, but I think we've proven the whole point of the prompt and basic prompt techniques that if your questions is just open-ended, you are likely going to get an open-ended result that may not even make any sense, right? So you just need to add more context and maybe give example and be specific. So this is where I would draw the line. Though we have more examples, but because of time, we are likely not going to go through them. Does anyone have any question for me? Any question? Um, I can see Adeni, Aliyu, Asif, Ujadima, Danisha, Ridwan. Any question before we round up for today? Okay, I will take the silence as a no. So what I would advise you to do is to just keep on practicing it. See how you can also tune your prompts, change it and see how the model responds. And yeah, you can also change the model to different types and just see how they work. In our next class, we'll be looking at more advanced prompt technique such as zero shots, few shots. Zero shots is just the one where you give it a prompt, maybe without any example. Why few shots are the type when you give it a prompt and give some examples for it to pick up from there. You also have chain of thoughts. You just maybe you know how it is in your head, so you just play the roadmap or the map for it to follow. That one is chain of thought. So we are going to be looking at those advanced prompt techniques in our next class, and hopefully in that class I'll will be using or I will be using the OpenAI key to show us how to work with it. So it's going to be code similar to the ones you have in the PHP notebook. So I'm using OpenAI in that particular class, hopefully. But I'll still have some examples coming from other things just in case my OpenAI key probably does not work, but hopefully it works. Yeah. So this is where we draw the line. So today I'll still open the ground in case anyone have any question before we call it a day. Any question? All right. It was nice to have you guys here, and I hope to see you all in our next class. Thanks for coming, and let me check the chat box in case I missed anything. Hold on. Okay, there's no question in the chat box. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming. See you guys in the next class. Bye, everyone.
Bye.